My name is Juan Gallo. I'm the CEO, Executive Director here at Heart to Heart Outreach of South Florida. I've been here for about a year, spent the last 9 years running long-term care Medicaid programs for the state of Florida and North Carolina. And early last year, Heart to Heart reached out to me and we started talking, and here I am. It's been a year. Yeah, so Heart to Heart Outreach exists to mobilize volunteers to care for the aging population. So we do that by connecting people, advocating on behalf of the aging population, responding to their needs, and engaging churches and businesses and volunteers to the elderly in the community. So people don't realize this, but in the next 10 years, we will see the largest population of elderly people increase. So we will actually have more seniors over the age of 65 than we will have children in the United States, and that's never happened before in the history of the United States. Park Ridgers could get involved in a multiple amount of ways, right? There are people that are extremely generous by lending us their time. So they would just contact us, they would volunteer with us. And typically what we do is we ask for a 1-year commitment. We know that that seems like a long time, but the elderly need consistency for a lot of different reasons. We also love to get the high school students involved. This is a great way for them to pick up volunteer hours, and we're actually getting ready to roll out a scholarship for juniors and seniors. So it's a small scholarship. So that's one way. The other way is buy supplies. So we ask that if there's anyone that has an abundance of supplies that they think that maybe an ALF or a senior in their home could use, and if it's brand new and it's nice and packaged, just bring it on over and we could definitely use it. And then of course, the good old donation, right? So we're always looking to raise funds so that we can excel the ministry forward. And those are really the 3 major ways. The other thing, which I always mention is huge for us, is pray. Pray for us. Pray that God will use us. Pray that God will give us a space. We are a nonprofit, Christian-based, faith-based organization functioning outside in the world. So all the prayers are always needed and welcomed. Over the last 10 years, they would really only just do one thing, which is really still what we do the most, and it's companionship. So it's visiting elderlies in the communities. But as you know, the pandemic has really kind of stifled that for us. So what we've done this year is we've pivoted. So we've bought over 150 tablets and pass them out throughout the community, Miami, Broward, Palm Beach. And so we have volunteers all the time on some type of schedule, Skyping or face chatting of some sort, with an elderly. The other thing they can do or expect is now we are back and we're opening back up the care center so they can visit. There's also people in the community that want visits, and so we need that as well. And then phone calls, just picking up a telephone and calling someone, maybe even in your church, someone that's been identified as isolated or lonely and is elderly, and just a phone call once a week, maybe 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Hey, how are you? How's everything going? What do you need? Is everything okay? That really just goes a long way. So this year we started doing something called Cozy Blankets, and we actually started it with one of our previous volunteers who's now elderly herself and is at home and in a wheelchair, and she can't really move, but she loves to make fleece blankets. And so what we did was we brought her a whole bunch of fleece supplies, and that really turned into a bigger thing. So now we have groups like Keller Williams will get involved with us, and some other companies, and we just get groups of people together, and they make fleece blankets, and then we brand them. We go to the dry cleaners, we put our logo on them so that people know it's coming from us and we care about them. And they're specifically tailored so that they don't get stuck on wheelchair wheels, and they're just keeping the elderly warm. It gets really cold in some of the ALFs, so it's just a reminder that we're there for them. So that's one way that a group can get involved. We have a lot of stories, but one that I just always go with the most recent because there's stories coming up all the time. But we got a phone call from a lady named Carmel. She lives in Hollywood. She's 91 years old. She's in great shape, and she actually just recently started taking care of her 2 great-grandchildren who are old and 9 years old, all on her own. And so as you can imagine, expenses have been tight. So she's actually was using the little bit of money that she used to get the grass cut She has a little small house there in Hollywood, and she started using that to take care of her grandchildren. So her grass was just overgrowing, and she reached out to us. We reached out to Hollywood Community Church, great example of church partnership. And Josh, who owns a lawn maintenance, has now gone to her house, cut her grass just last week. They sent us a picture, and so now he's committed every 2 weeks to going to her house and cutting her grass for free on behalf of the church and on behalf of Heart to Heart.